We are Meteor Heist. You're listening to CIUT 89.5 FM.
Let's get started. We're here with Meteor Heist. Hello, guys.
Hey.
So you guys just released your new album fairly recently, this past week. It's self-titled Meteor Heist 2, which is the follow-up on Meteor Heist 1. It's been about 2 years since the last album there. How are you guys feeling about this release?
I think we're feeling good. We're excited that it's out. I think we're happy to have we were excited to release the first EP, and then we were happy to release the second EP.
It was a very quick turnaround. We recorded it in about a week between December 18th and 22nd, and then it came out January 23rd.
Yeah.
So it was like an inadvisably fast turnaround time. So we're
honestly, we're just happy it's out. It made it out.
it worked. Every associated deadline was hit, and now we can just listen to it, as can anyone with an internet connection.
We're a CD player.
That or 2 feet that can go to shows and come see you live. You've had a few really, really cool shows recently, especially over this past winter. Most recently, over with Stars. That's an incredible lineup. You guys were over at the Danforth Hall. How is that show? How does it feel to perform with the Stars?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was so fun. They were so welcoming in the whole process, and it was very cool to see a band who's clearly been doing it for a while and just knows just everything and just has everything down to like a science almost, like the way they sound check, the way they talk to promoters, the way they just deal with everyone, and just so respectful and so professional. So that was definitely, on top of playing the amazing show with them, it was really cool to see a band who's been working professionally for so long and how they do it and all their different kind of practices and such. So that was definitely a cool part of it. But also the shows were really fun. We played Mississauga and Toronto, as you said, and yeah, overall a really fun time.
Well, as a Toronto local staple at this point, I've seen you guys bill with some of our favorites also. You also played with Burrs and a lot of other really beautiful, wonderful, thoughtful, and expressive sort of folk, indie rock, indie pop bands. I'm curious to hear how, especially with this quick turnaround in the whole producing as well as recording this album, how does it feel now 2 years later, going through the process again of recording? How is that different from last time?
Practically speaking, this record, the process was quite different because our first EP, we self-recorded it, and it was produced entirely by Thomas. We did it like a little bit basement recording, basically, which is how we recorded all our other tracks, with the exception of this EP. And this EP, we actually had the opportunity to record at a beautiful studio, a newly built studio in Waterloo, Ontario, called Rupert Street Recording. So that made it quite a different experience. We also had a producer on board. His name is Ola Romo. So it was quite a different experience than recording the first one, but we had a really great time.
It was also very different because with the first one, we had been playing the songs live for a long time before we recorded them. A lot of them we'd been playing for quite a while, and we also, since we were doing the basement recording, we could set our own schedule, so we could sort of take a lot of time with the recording. We recorded it over a good long period.
6 months. Probably.
Yeah. Whereas with this, we it was all new songs. I don't think we'd played any of them live before we recorded them, and we'd hardly even played them in rehearsal, really. So we went into the studio. It was a very different experience in that we were really creating the songs on the fly in a way that we weren't the first time around.
For songs created on the fly, they are lyrically some of the most beautiful, profound songwriting that I've read in a hot minute. I really do appreciate just how expressive and how evocative the songs themselves are, and tied with also the songwriting. And I wanted to ask kind of the process for songwriting this time around. Was there anything that really called to you or inspired you with this album?
So process-wise, I would say it was in some ways more collaborative than certainly the first EP and a lot of our other writing has been, in that we sort of agreed on, someone will have an idea, we'll bring it in, we'll try to get up to, I think we had about 15 total songs we were choosing between.
Almost 20.
Yeah. Toward the end of our pre-production sessions in Carly's basement. But each of those were, initiated by one person, but the arrangement would be fleshed out in the group. Typically, the instrumental would change quite a bit in that setting. Lyrically, they were often collaborations between multiple people as well. I think almost every song on the record is that is the case for. And yeah, there's lots of different motivations lyrically on the record that I'm sure we could all speak, because, well, this is quite a collective process lyrically.
I noticed over for some of the previous songs that you guys released, especially through how you were present about talking about it online, just the writings of sort of the story of the different songs that you had put out there. Personally, off of this new album, part of what I really fell in love with was actually the last track of the album that really called to me, and what we have recorded over here live today, Compass Points. And it's, as a museum nerd and as a history geek, I kind of started listening to it and I was like, oh my God, my special interest is in this song. So part of that is the book of Hours, and I want to touch upon kind of that song and maybe the story behind that, if I can indulge.
Cameron Stewart.
Yeah. Well, I was in a bit of a bind because I hadn't really brought very much to this album. And we had a rehearsal.
We're all thinking it. Cam's got to step up.
The night before, I was like, guys, I wrote a great new song, and it wasn't true. I hadn't. And I went to the bookstore and I bought a book, and I went to the bar and wrote that tune, or part of that tune. And in that book, there was a concept, like a directional concept. You think of the 4 cardinal compass points. We all know them: north, south, east, west. Yeah.
Elite knowledge.
But this one was 5 directions, and there was north, south, east, west, center, which I thought was really cool. Anyway, so there's a couple different references in there, and yeah, I don't know. I just wrote it at the bar.
I just casually bought this medieval manuscript and, proceeded to go through all of the details.
It was a book on ancient Chinese deities.
Wow.
Wow.
Now,
There you go.
That's wild.
that proceeded to make me even more curious about this song. I'm gonna have to bring this back lyric by lyric, line by line. This is gonna be a little crash course into Meteor Heist.
Jill, do you want to touch on the second half of that song, the lyrics that you brought in for that one?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I contributed, I think, most of the second verse of that song, and the second, pre-chorus and whatever. And to me, I took this is kind of our second real Taoist song. We've got this and Straw Dogs that we played off the top of the show is Taoist as well in its motivation. I ended up taking that in a direction of exactly. But playing off of the directional motif in the first verse, I wanted to take it to a place of writing about nonlinear understandings of time. Mm-hmm. I happened to be teaching grade 11 English at the time. I'm a student teacher, and it's an indigenous literature course, and I was teaching about the Anishinaabe understanding of time as a spiral, that day, and I had been using the competing metaphor of time as an arrow, the weaker thans, time as an arrow versus time as a spiral, in that lecture a lot, and I ended up bringing that into that second verse. There's a reference to dream time as well, which is an Australian Aboriginal concept that's quite similar, but non-linearity and repeating in the quote unquote progression of time. Mm-hmm. So those are present in that song. My favorite lyrical tidbit of mine in that one, is the personification of the great chain of being, which if you're a medievalist, you'll
Indeed.
Yes. So that is the the idea that all of the entities on Earth exist in a pretty linear chain from God down to angels, and within angels the seraphim and the cherubim and whatever.
The hierarchy
down to humans, down to primates or other non-human primates, down to other animals, down to insects, down to it's very linear, and there's more moral weight given to entities at the top of the hierarchy. So the personification of the great chain of being, and I know you're thinking something, the great chain of being sours, so getting at that, non-linearity, moving toward the center as opposed to like up, something that we're all sort of doing a box step around, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's like whenever Bill and I are writing a tune together, we always kind of come to this place of like, we've built up this whole like crazy thing, then we just got to turn it into a love song again, and
I can tell you're thinking something.
Yeah, no,
you're a coward.
And so you kind of find that balance, I think, and I think that song does it pretty well.
It's interesting how the secrets of the universe are then tied back into how do I make this now? It's something that's so innately a human experience, and yet in the ways that we experience it, like love and intimacy are so intertwined with this whole concept of time also, and like our sort of the human condition of time also, and how we relate to that. And something that I find interesting is what you said about patterns and cycles, because so many of the songs also within this album revolve around this sort of feeling of time and our affections and our connections to others. And I was curious to hear if there was a song that each of you, when you wrote it, or maybe after you started playing it together as a band, you were really drawn to or that you connected to in particular.
It's interesting because it's so funny because there's a couple experiences, because as Bill said before, a lot of us, we bring in the tunes individually, and there are some tunes that come in like for example, Liberty Village is a song that Bill wrote the lyrics for and I wrote the music for, and I was really on borderline not even wanting to bring it in. I was like, I don't know. But then they come together with the band, and when you have all the different elements people bring in as well, and you kind of also feel it in the context of the other songs as well, and you can take ideas from there's kind of a bunch of like, there's a lot of, this is kind of a lot of like kind of rhythmic motifs in this record. There's a lot of arpeggiators that Spencer's playing, and there's a lot of like just kind of interesting rhythmic accents throughout the record. And actually, it's like, wait, hold on. If you put these ideas that you have that you've used on other songs, like on Falling Knife or stuff, or you take that and you put it in, it's actually makes a lot of sense with the project. And then people bring in their own parts, and it makes the song work a lot. And I don't know about you guys, but at least for that song, that was a song that I was like, I don't know. And even up till the point we decided, I don't know if you guys remember when we were picking songs, I was like, I don't want to record the song. But everyone else, no, we got to do it. So
I think it was everyone else's like first.
It was everyone else's
pull from the
first
list,
pick, and I was like, it was not in my top 5 at all, which is interesting. It just shows all the different kind of tastes that we have and all the different kind of perspectives that we see these songs and how we view them in the project and how they could fit in. But I actually do think now that it was a great decision. That song fits really, really well as the third track. But yeah, any other experiences like that for you guys in terms of the process of making the tunes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like it was mentioned before, like it was such a different process. We hadn't played any of them live, so there kind of wasn't like there wasn't like a focus group portion of this, of this record, like with testing it out in front of an audience. So it was kind of like entirely, up to us what we wanted to do, which is in a way that I didn't expect, so different from the first EP, and really like kind of made the entire process feel unexpected, and I like felt like I didn't even like understand what the project was going to be until it was like done, you know what I mean, which was a really interesting way to create something. And I think the thing that I'm really like proud of in this record is we just made pretty much exactly what we felt like making, and that's like such a nice feeling to be able to do that, because it like, I think it's nice to work with people that you trust so much creatively and intellectually and emotionally, and just be able to create something that's just whatever you really want to do, with no influence of like, oh, but the audience didn't react too well to this one last time. Like we just made what we felt like making, and it was a good time.
It's purely instinct, because I think a lot as well now there's a lot of like a lot of bands just in general, the process of making a record, it takes so long. Like there's the writing, pre-production, you go in, you record beds, and you record, and you're doing all these things on top of each other, and there's so many decisions that have to be made, and those decisions can be stretched over. I think this is actually the case with the first record a lot, where there, like, we had some songs that were done. We released the record in May, and we'd started recording it in the previous September 2023 is when we started. And so there's a lot of sitting on stuff. There's a lot of, and when you do a record as quick as we did, it's all the instincts, and and it's just everyone's natural instincts. What are they feeling in the moment? And that's honestly usually the first decision is kind of the right decision too. And I mean, there's a couple instances where that's not true, but I think that because we use our instincts so much, and because it was kind of like, this is what it's going to be, and there's no thinking twice about anything because there's not time, right? I think that actually helped it quite a bit in terms of the way it was done, and the way it's released in the final outcome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm curious.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's nice to like have a collaborative process. I was gonna just an anecdote from recording is our producer Ula was really like fantastic person and did such an amazing job with the record, and we were so lucky to work with him. He's very Swedish and very stoic, and like played solitaire a lot, but like had really good input. You know, he was like such a great person to work with. And the nicest thing I think that he said the entire time we were working was at the last day of recording, he was like, "I'm very impressed. You're very democratic. Usually it's just one asshole." And we were like, "That is awesome, man. Thank you so much."
You can democratically vote on who gets to be the asshole.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. But I do think that reflects, I mean, all of you really contribute to the writing and to the production and to the actual like world building that comes into creating an album, which is something that is quite distinct, and to have that kind of hive mind almost within that creativity is really special.
The wolf in your car, he's asleep in your pocket against a hummingbird heart. He's got your chest in his teeth, long nights in his eyes, the roads and oasis where travelers lie, and we're straw dogs now. Yeah, we're straw dogs now. The wolf's at your door. He approaches himself, throws off his sheep's coat, chasing his wealth. You're on his mind, though your name is a guest of darkness, born of darkness, and we're straw dogs now. Yeah, we're straw dogs now. We're straw dogs now. Yeah, we're straw dogs now. The valley will stay long after mountains hide inexhaustible space, unseen by yellow eyes. The valley will stay long after mountains die in inexhaustible space, unseen by yellow eyes. And we're straw dogs now. We're straw dogs now. We're straw dogs now. Yeah, we're straw dogs now. Yeah.
What's up, everyone?
Hey,
We're Meteor Heist.
we are straw dogs now.
Oh, wow. or that.
In case you didn't get that. Band theme song. We are Meteor Heist. And this is our new EP. It came out on January 23rd. It's called Meteor Heist 2. And this song is called Falling Knife. New cracks, old haunts, same enemy, the closest. New dusk, old dawn, same subject, out of focus. ever born. The air around is rusted, withered out from lack of sound. I heard it once when I was there, but then forgot somehow. And it's all still there, and it's all still, and it's all still there, and it's all still. The dog howls right outside my door. He sees my window close. He has never seen this light before. He wants to be alone. I can't see any stars, so I wish on the diner floor. It's glowing, but not even neon's neon anymore. And it's all still there, and it's all still, and it's all still there, and it's all still, and it's all still there, and it's all still, and it's all still there.
That was a song called It's All Still off of our new EP, Meteor Heist 2. Should have seen the heated debates deciding to call it whether to call it It's All Still or All Still. It's true. Many options.
Well, true. It wasn't even Diner Floor at one point.
Or Diner Floor.
I feel like every song should just have 6 names, and then you just decide.
It's good, yeah. The
Sounds-
true fans know. The underground names.
Oh, you don't know that song? Oh, okay.
I mean, kind of taking it back from out of the album and into kind of your own personal lives, you all met a few years ago, right? Or you met quite in high school, was that correct? And then kind of all came together. Tell us more about that story.
Yeah, all of us except Thomas here, we all met in high school. Well, Cam and I met in kindergarten.
Wow.
And then the rest of us met in high school, and we played together all through high school. And then Bill and Thomas, they knew each other because they'd played together in a band in high school. And so we found ourselves a few years ago in need of a new drummer. And so we got this
Thomas
guy.
Farley.
And we've been playing in this format for quite a number of years now. So
Well, I remember the initial pitch you guys, or at least Bill gave me, was that they needed a drummer for 3 shows, one in Kingston, one in Wolf Island, one in Elfin, Ontario, which was where Lila from, and one in Ottawa. And they'd asked if I'd do it. I'd be like, and I was actually during the summer. I was like, yeah, it sounds like a great time. And it came
we
out.
can't pay
and
you.
it's, yeah, they can't pay me. And so I remember the day I was going to leave, they're like, actually, the Ottawa show's not happening. I was like, oh, okay. So we just went to Wolf Island. We played a great show there. And then I ended up getting COVID on that trip. We were in the sun a lot. It was the summer. And I was just like, wow, I think I have like sunstroke or something. Like,
It was honestly a great first impression though, because like we didn't know you really at all, and like,
Yeah.
and we had been playing together
Oh, we
for
just
like.
thought you like to lie down.
I know, we were like, this guy is. We were like, this guy is really
guy on
sleepy. Because I remember like taking the ferry back from Wolf Island, you're like crashed out the entire time. We were like, wow, he's really chill. Like he's so. But it was a great first impression. You were like so down to play this weird like mini tour, and
Yeah.
with
Well,
us.
Thomas, you also helped produce. I mean, you recorded some of the first releases, right?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Well,
Including Falling Knife off of this record.
yeah. One of the first things they said when I joined the band was we're interested in doing recording projects, and I'm like, oh well, that's very interesting because at the time I go to school. I'm at U of T for composition, and part of that is a lot of tech stuff, and I it's kind of one of my favorite things to do is learn engineering and mixing and producing. I find that stuff so fascinating. And I have like kind of a little basement studio that I like to work out of. So it's an amazing experience, and that I love doing it, but it's also so helpful because it's a way that I can learn. I think actually if you listen to our discography in order, it's like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds better. It's like, and up till Falling Knife, I think Falling Knife's our best sounding song up to this point. And thanking these guys a lot for that, learning so much over the years.
We were
Yeah, it's
kind
been a real
enough to let you
You're
do
welcome.
hours and hours and hours of unpaid work.
I was going to mention, not only are you bringing in like the technical prowess, you also were willing to go on tour and play with what you thought was Sunstroke, plus have great style. So you were just,
thank you.
know, the full package there. I'm kind of curious about Falling Knife too, because it is a song that really stood out to me as someone, I think, with maybe a bit of like an attachment issue around certain relationships and feeling like this, cycle of wanting to be intimate, but also feeling this fear of being maybe asked to be committed around certain things. And it just kind of really spoke to me emotionally from that point of view. But I'm curious about what the songwriting process and how do you guys feel about Falling Knife?
Yeah, Lyle and I wrote that one from both sides, instrumentally and lyrically. It can be read in a number of different ways. It can be read as a romantic song. It can be read as a platonic relationship. So really any relationship that is intimate in any way. I think we were like watching The Bear.
That's what I was about to say. We were watching a lot of The
We were watching
Bear.
a lot of The Bear at the time. So like, the chorus, "There's no handle on a falling knife," is a kitchen safety rule.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see a knife that's falling, just let it fall. Don't try to catch it, because aim for the handle and you will miss and slice your hand up. In
So
any
it
case,
kind of
yeah.
Falling Knife is kind of a funny song because so much of the songwriting that like we've all done, I think, is like so personal. And Falling Knife was kind of a song that just came of this like is quite a conceptual song, honestly. Like it didn't really come from necessarily any experience that like we had. It was just kind of like, wow, what a funny part of relationships is just like sometimes you just have to let the knife fall. You know what I mean? And like the bridge. I'm ready to cave, I'm ready to break, I'm ready to say I'm tired of you, or I'm tired of truth, I want to believe I'm tired of you, is kind of just like that, like we were talking about, like being in close relationship with someone and how like you have people that you choose in your life and they become your people, and they're no matter what happens, you kind of like, you stick with it despite your, desire to believe it's like, not necessarily, I want to believe I'm tired of you,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's easier to like react in that kind of falling knife way, you know what I mean, in intimate like settings, intimate relationships. But it's at the end, it's don't hold on too tight. What is it? Don't hold on too tight. I'm holding you. I don't sing that one, so I don't even have to know it.
That's me, guys.
Thomas Carley. So anyway, all this to say that Falling Knife is really a song that wasn't necessarily based on anything. It was just kind of conceptual and like about the idea of like relationships and how they work with each other in a particular context.
And the more time you spend with people also, and as the closer you become to individuals and you sort of go through the process of growing alongside someone, I think the more that relationship reveals itself and unfolds just through the nature of getting older and discovering more parts of yourself. And what I find interesting is because you guys have been playing together for so long, you have also borne witness to each other for so many of these years that are very informative to all of you individually. How do you feel like through the creation of this band, since you guys started playing together, that you've all kind of grown together?
Yeah.
We all look like each other now.
Yeah. Morphing into one. We've kind of lucked out in this circumstance. I think we're all just like really kind and capable, caring people, and I feel really lucky to like be in such an intertwined closeness with the people that I am.
Our producer who said this thing about the democraticness of our band, and he said one of the last things when we were doing mixing, one of the last kind of things he said, you guys should stick together because there's a lot of, I can tell you guys have a really strong relationship with each other, which I think is true. And he was talking about how when we work together, I think it's pretty cohesive compared to, I think, a lot of other projects that maybe he's worked with. And I think that just we tend to have the same ideas and tend to want the same things as well. So that's definitely important.
When we played with Stars, we talked to Torquil Campbell, who's the one of the lead singers in that band, and he gave us some really good advice. He said, "You guys are great. Forgive each other and keep going."
He also said, unprompted, that we were better than Oasis, which struck me as an odd.
I don't know if I want to go on record. I'm not going on record and saying that.
I am going on record.
Bill is going on record. I'm not.
Just carry like a recording device with you. Be like, remember that one conversation we had all that time ago?
On the record.
On the record, exactly. Talking about getting up close and personal, you guys went on tour together. That was after your previous release. Is there a sort of lesson or something that you learned from that tour? And what was your favorite or one of the most memorable moments from that tour?
I don't have a very good memory, but
It's the last
It was
year.
a
well,
blur.
we did a couple since that first EP.
The van tour.
The van tour was a lot better than touring in my father's Honda Accord.
What? Yeah, what's the
Five
story
years ago.
behind that?
Yeah, we didn't have any other vehicle available to us except this Honda Accord, and so we
Thanks,
were able
Dad.
to at every venue. We just had to set up gear sharing with the other bands. Like we we didn't have to bring any drums or anything. We made sure there were always drums at the venue, sharing amp stuff, and we just stacked the keyboards and guitars and bass in the trunk in the back, and then the rest of us just crammed in.
Yeah,
And
and
it was
bear
a
in mind
lot-
there are 5 of us.
it was
So
a lot.
We got to shout out the roof bag.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God! Yeah,
All
we
of
had
our
to put all of
personal-
our clothes and stuff in this bag that we strapped on the roof, right? But we didn't have a proper roof rack.
It's not waterproof.
And it also wasn't
no.
waterproof. It all got rained on. But so we were driving down the road, right? And there's a sunroof, so you could look up and you could see the bag. And we were always worried it was going to fall off. So you would always look up and you would describe it in terms of like the moon. You'd be like, okay, half moon, because you could see half the bag was there, and the other half of the sunroof was just, you just look
Sky.
at the sky. And it was always a real nerve wracking when you looked up there and there was no moon.
Yeah, we were like, it's a new moon, guys.
Well,
pull over.
We didn't hear the bag fall off the car, so it's probably still there, right?
I remember
Probably
when
not
we
for
were,
long.
I remember when
we
we were.
hooked it in the window, so you couldn't fully close the window.
Yeah.
But then it
It was
rained.
so loud, and it rained, and we all got wet.
Because the straps were wrapped inside
Oh
the
my
car,
God,
and
that's
there was
right.
water coming in.
And I
so-
remember we ran out of water, and you were drinking from the
I
strap.
was, yes.
Wring them out. And
Somewhere in
Delicious.
Quebec, I was doing that. It was really
no, that was Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa,
sorry,
it just
Ottawa.
poured rain. And we tried to put our clothes in plastic bags in there so that in case that happened, we would be okay. We weren't okay.
No,
they fell out of
everyone's
bags.
clothes were
They
wet.
sopping
I don't
wet.
understand how that didn't work. Like that seems so.
You'd
like,
think.
garbage bags are waterproof, are they not?
I just wore
Well-
the same clothes.
Okay.
We're gonna play a song next called Liberty Village. Shout out to Toronto. We are from here. We're Meteor Heist. This is Liberty Village.
Danny said he would forget the pellet gun. Danny said I'm in their house, but my ears feel overrun and my mouth fears what it can't pronounce.
fun song. This song is called Way Too Long. I was looking for a sign, for faded words to realign, a jaded fractal severing the stem. Truth, a tone of voice, and love, a Hobson's choice, an unresolved solution in the end. Way too long, I've always known places stay when you're not home. Borrowed time I call my own. Taste of iron in the air, empty vessels take you where minutes move in circles round the turn. The ocean back from death, drowning water in a crash. Injured drops of rain fall far from home. Way too long, I've always known places stay when you're not home. Borrowed time I call my own. That's Thomas Carley on the drums and on the very, very high backup vocals. I'm always impressed.
Thanks, man.
It's great because he just, I record the background vocals high in my range, and then he's like, I'll just sing it. And somehow he does it. It's very impressive.
Aw, thank you, Laura.
You're
Very
so
kind.
welcome.
That's very nice of you.
You're so welcome. We're Meteor Heist. My name's Lila Wright. Our keyboard player right over here is Mr. Spencer Duncan Dorton. On bass, we have Bill Kilbride. On drums, Thomas Carley. On guitar, Cameron Stewart. We make up Meteor Heist. We're going to play a song next called Shoot That Gun! Exclamation point. You're as angry as I've ever heard. Purely animal creature. Sitting stoically on the words. Honey, I love you. Your love flickers like an open flame. Warmed by room for potential pain. Saving up all your strength to say, just let me at him. And you can have whatever you want. I give whatever you want. You wanna shoot that gun. And you don't ever need to be kind. 'Cause when it's finally time, you're gonna shoot that gun. I see into how you fantasize. Light an honorable bar flame. Lighting low in your head held high. Darling, I had to. Your back shudders with the phantom force of the last immovable war horse. Getting stuck in the feigned remorse of grudges to settle. And you can have whatever you want. I give whatever you want. You wanna shoot that gun. And you don't ever need to be kind. 'Cause when it's finally time, you're gonna shoot that gun. I'll be waiting till it all goes wrong to see the end of the line drawn. I know you wanted it all along. I know you want it. And you can have whatever you want.
I really was curious to also sort of inquire about the different venues and like different cities. Did you guys have like a specific venue or a show that you guys really were surprised or impressed by?
Wakefield, Quebec.
Yeah.
Wakefield, Quebec is
Awesome
an amazing
boat
place to play. Yeah. We've played at a beautiful venue called Cafe 1870, run by a lovely person named Lee. And which happened to have that contact, and it worked out really wonderfully. We hit that stop both times, both of our summer tours the last 2 years. It's a really small community, but it's so beautiful right on the water, and it's nice to play in smaller communities too, because we try and kind of hit as many small communities as we can, because it's Friday night and there's one thing to do, and it's go to the Meteor Heist show. So
you guys are the coolest kids in town, certified for sure.
The small towns, it's interesting. The small towns we found on tour usually, people come out, and in the big cities they don't. Like we played Montreal during the summer last year, and it's the summer, right? So anybody that we know who's studying in Montreal isn't there anymore. So we don't know that many people. So we play the show in Montreal, and not that many people show up. But then yeah, that's true.
Oh,
but then
that's poor planning on my
we
part.
played in Wakefield, and it's packed, which is awesome. Yeah.
So in Toronto, since you guys are based out of Toronto and from Toronto, ?
Most of
Yes.
us. I'm
Yes,
from
yes, yes.
I'm from out of town, but the rest of us are from Toronto.
Where are you from?
I'm from about an hour north of Kingston, kind of if you triangulated Ottawa and Kingston.
Whereabouts?
I'm from a very small town called Elphin, Ontario. It's about half an hour out of Perth, Ontario. Are you from Perth?
So I Sydenham, South South Frontenac.
That
just
is
north
great.
of
I'm from North
Kingston.
Frontenac. This is crazy.
Lovely to know
guys.
ya,
This
neighbor.
is crazy.
Yeah.
I knew I liked you.
It's a small town energy. What can I
Small town
say?
energy. Yeah, I'm from, but I've lived in Toronto since I was 14, so I've been here a while.
I just have family. I spent my summers up there, so it's kind of nice to be out in the woods, out in the wilderness. I think it's a great space for creative world building too, because you're like, I'm just frolicking.
So
I'm
true.
just out in nature. I feel like given the fact that you guys have been around and have been playing together since high school too, you probably know like how important it is to have spaces like third spaces where you can start creatively practicing together, playing together. Did you start playing and like practicing through your school resources, or was that elsewhere in the city?
Not real. We just kind of.
We mostly used to just play in Cam's basement.
Yeah, that used to be the spot.
Bit of a basement band.
Basement band.
Basement band. So you recorded and
Yeah.
I guess produced the first, I guess all the releases up until this album in
Yeah.
a basement. You started playing around a basement.
We
You're
switched up we switched up basements recently when we started to do a bit more production with our with
Mm-hmm.
our live show. I mean, great. So what we did is we figured out a way to hook up a laptop for our our last EP release show in May of 2024 to have the transitions come in, so I could just press a space bar on my laptop and the transition would come in. And I was like, well, hold on a second, we can put a lot of there's multiple tracks in our songs that don't make it into the live show because it's like there's 3 different keyboard sounds and there's a second guitar part and there's a background vocals and there's all these things. It's like, okay, what if we just put our whole show on tracks? And I think it just overall makes the show have a bit more of a flow to it, and it really works. So anyway, to answer your question, we've switched to my basement for our live show because of the way we run our live show now. And
We all need a Thomas in our lives who's just willing to take on all of the technical
I like it. It's so fun.
gadgets and gizmos and show us the way. Yeah, I think that's a really cool point in that there are so many of these things that bands could do to sort of play around with how that sound becomes more cohesive, because you do have a very immersive sound too. Is Spencer, do you do synth as a part of the band?
Yes,
So how does that, because I feel like that ties into all of the different instruments and sort of glues the sound together. How does that come to play for you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's usually when we bring a song in, there's for the most part up until this new EP, usually there's like the main rhythm or something that's being driven by the bass, guitar, drums, whatever. There's that going on, and then it's sort of up to me to, I guess, find something that's usually a little bit more atmospheric and try to sort of fill in the sound that way, which is a lot of fun. There's a lot of freedom in that. This new EP was a bit different. A couple of the tunes have like some arpeggiated synth parts to sort of drive the rhythm a little bit more, which is also fun. When we started out way back in the day, we were more like jazzy, I guess, and it made sense for me to like play like piano and that sort of stuff. But as the sound of the band evolved, I guess this world sort of opened up. Yeah.
Beautiful. How did you find your way to the organ?
Well, we would always, like back in high school, we'd always play in Cam's basement, and he had a big one there that he'd found on the side of the road. And so I just started playing it, and Yeah, it's sort of fun. I still play organ a little bit sometimes. I play in a ska band. Cam and I both play in a ska band.
Cool.
We play at Grossman's Tavern once a month, and I play organ in that, which is
Cool.
fun. Yeah.
Cam, we gotta get like a basement tour or something.
Come
This
on
is
by.
crazy.
Actually, that organ, I don't know if you guys know this, we destroyed it.
It's a table now,
Yeah,
right?
we it's now a desk. We
Oh
took
my
it
God.
out. We took the planks of wood because it's nice wood, right? So
That's a nice organ.
That's
Well,
so
the sound
sad.
evolved, so there's no need for it anymore.
Wow. Yeah, we need a
Sadly, It's not
funeral.
a nice organ. It actually is quite bad, but so it actually is a better desk.
I feel that all of you have such a world of both creativity and have all this context in which you're exploring that together. And it really is interesting to see that you have this, what was described as like a democratic process, but also just in being very intelligent, very creative, very eloquent people.
Thank you so
And I'm very
much.
grateful that you guys came in today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
This is
us.
so great.
In the essence of these questions over here that Thomas, for those of you who are listening, Thomas did write some very profound questions
They were
over
just
into
examples
my
in
journal.
case you didn't know
Just
what to say.
In case absolutely
Clearly,
floundered
you
and
knew what to
flopped in my starstruck state after, yes, my adventures of the evening that included listening to a lot of music and trying out a new espresso martini from El Cipio that was really good. Is what is your favorite cereal?
Oh, who's going first?
Raisin Bran.
Rice Krispies.
I'm a big mixer. I like a bowl that at the bottom is shredded wheat and bran. Next layer is on brand Cheerios, not Toasted O's. Then I like Rice Krispies. Doesn't have to be on brand. Then on top I like Shreddies again. Doesn't have to be on brand. It's just Cheerios.
All right, Bill.
Vector.
I'm so lost. I don't even know. I'm gonna say a good multigrain Cheerio. It's good.
A
On
good
brand.
multi-grain
On
Cheerio.
On brand,
brand.
on brand multigrain.
And not Honey Nut.
Honey
I don't
Nut's-
like
Honey Nut's
Honey
good.
Nut. I think
Honey Nut's
either.
good.
Cinnamon?
No.
Oh, no, that's
What?
disgusting too.
Bill,
Well,
this reminds me of the time that we tasked you with buying us bagels for
Oh my
breakfast,
God.
and you
That was
bought
awful.
cinnamon raisins.
Terrible
We'll
choice.
never live this down.
And yeah, and you were like, what, guys? That's normal. Like, no.
Weird choice.
You're like, what do you
I was
mean?
really upset.
It's okay, Bill. I will eat the raisin with you. No problem. No worries. I am very grateful to know all of these facts about you guys now. I feel really up close and intimate. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing these critical pieces of information. I feel like all of your fiber and your guts are very healthy, very happy. And on that note, thank you for sharing this new release with us. We're excited to play over at the station. We've already been sort of gauging that and starting to play that. And is there anything that we should take a look at to keep in touch with you guys? Any shows? Any events coming up?
I would say keep an eye out. We post most of our activity on our Instagram. That's Meteor Heist Band. And there will
Website?
be announcements to come.
Okay.
Keep an eye out. We got stuff coming.
Keep in touch. That was Meteor Heist.
All right. We've got one song left for you today. Thank you, CIUT, for having us. This is so much fun. We're called Meteor Heist. We're a band based in Toronto. We just put out this record called Meteor Heist 2. It's available on streaming. Womp womp.
And CD format.
And CD format, and on Bandcamp. We're gonna play a song next. I don't know what we're talking about in here. We're talking about CDs? Oh, that's awesome. Guys, our CDs just shipped. That's what I'm learning right now.
Oh, huge.
That is huge, guys. So exciting. Yeah, who want me? Yeah, you can get CDs on our Bandcamp. We're Meteor Heist at bandcamp.com. How do they work? .bandcamp.com. Meteorheist.bandcamp.com. And also Meteor Heist Band on Instagram and all the social medias and etc.
Meteorheist.ca.
Meteorheist.ca is our website. Boom.
Oh, meteorheist.bandzoogle.com.
That's our EPK.
For all you people wanting our electronic press kit.
If anyone wants an electronic press kit, we got a Bandzoogle up in here. We
we are going to play a song called Compass Points off our new record, and then we're going to say goodbye. Thank you for listening, and thank you, CIUT, for having us. This is Compass Points by Meteor Heist.
1, 2, 3,
That's us. Something's happening. Purple star looks straight, 'cause it stays to carry me home, breath and all, don't decay. And of the 5 directions we could go, I'd make for the center to the glow. And you're nosing towards the welkin, and you paint a book of hours. I can tell you're thinking something. There's a page among the flowers. If the silence feels you slipping into compass points of colors, embroidered into matchbooks, jade stones and lovers. As the marksmen shoot in spirals, arrows fade. 1,000 autumns caught in dreamtime and today. The red dot settles on a cold immortal road. Vermilion feathers coat a million living moons. And you're wearing out your welcome. Great chain of being sours. I can tell you're thinking something, but I know that you're a coward. If the silence feels you slipping into compass points of colors, embroidered into matchbooks, jade stones and lovers, jade stones and lovers.
Thanks for listening. Our new record is called Meteor Heist 2.